1970 was the year the University College of Nairobi was made into a full university, the University of Nairobi. The expectation had been that President Jomo Kenyatta, who was also Chancellor of the university, would appoint one of the long-standing professors, David Wasawo, Simeon Ominde or Bethwel Ogot, as Vice-Chancellor. This was not to be. Kenyatta had already recalled Josephat Karanja from his London High Commission posting and made him first Kenyan principal of the then University College of Nairobi, a constituent college of the then University of East Africa. The man he replaced was Arthur Porter, the Sierra Leonean who had been the first principal of the college's precursor, the Royal Technical College. Though Karanja held a PhD in history from the prestigious Ivy League Princeton University in the United States, he had limited experience in university teaching or administration. So to serve under him, the University Senate elected Ogot Deputy Vice-Chancellor, but Ogot's appointment would turn out to be the first and last election of a Deputy University Vice-Chancellor at Nairobi. Thereafter, the Senate's power to elect a Vice-Chancellor was abolished. That year, Kenyatta would also nominate Nairobi Mayor Isaac Lugonzo to Parliament, thereby paving the way for his daughter and City Councillor Margaret Kenyatta to be elected the first woman mayor of the city since independence. The Parliament to which Lugonzo was nominated had a new Speaker, for when the new Parliament opened, MPs elected Kitui North MP Frederick Mati to succeed Sir Humphrey Slade. Mati thereby became Kenya's first ever African Speaker of the legislature. The Parliament was also one in which for the first time neither of the former powerful Luo leaders, Oginga Odinga and Tom Mboya, was a member. Odinga and several of his allies in the banned former opposition Kenya People's Union, KPU, were still in detention. Mboya had been assassinated the previous year, and those of his allies who were members of the Second Parliament would choose to keep a low profile. They did not want to offend Kenyatta and his powerful inner circle that included Attorney General Charles Njonjo and Vice President Daniel Arap Moi. Indeed, in October, one of Mboya's friends, Bruce Mackenzie, whom Kenyatta had nominated to Parliament and reappointed to the Ministry of Agriculture, the only white man in Cabinet or Parliament, felt uncomfortable enough about politics to resign from the Cabinet and Parliament, citing what he called health grounds. Mackenzie's resignation would give Kenyatta an opportunity to carry out a minor reshuffle of the government, in which he added Mwai Kibaki's finance docket to that of economic planning and development. The last person to hold that post had been Joseph Odero Joey, whom Kenyatta had appointed to succeed Mboya after he was assassinated, but who lost his Nthiwa parliamentary seat in the 1969 general election. With the increasing power he and the ruling party KANU now enjoyed, Kenyatta could afford to be politically magnanimous. In July, he announced the release of 12 political detainees, including former KPU MPs Tom Okello Odongo and Luke Obok. In October, following a plea from Kamba elders for clemency, he would release J.D. Kali, former official of the KPU. Not released that year were Odinga and his ex-KPU colleague and veteran freedom fighter, Achieng' Oneko. It was with the same confidence that Kenyatta had earlier appointed some assistant ministers in his new government. He made Martin Shikuku assistant minister in the office of the vice president. John Keane, the fiery Maasai elder who had already been detained by Kenyatta in 1967 for 2 months for anti-government statements, was appointed Assistant Minister for Works. J.M. Kariuki, who had rubbed some of Kenyatta's inner circle the wrong way by visiting Mbita and laying a wreath on Mboya's grave, was moved from agriculture to tourism and wildlife as Assistant Minister. Shikuku, Keane and Kariuki would later prove to be thorns in Kenyatta's flesh, but that would be a few years later. On the business front, 1970 was the year the government acquired 93% of the East African Power and Lighting Company Limited, later to be renamed the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. That year too, the government bought a 60% stake in the National and Grindlays Bank and had the bank split into two banks, the Kenya Commercial Bank and Grindlays Bank International, Kenya. 1970 was also the year Kenyans said farewell to Harry Thuku, the veteran freedom fighter and first president of the Kenya African Union, KAU.